Hey guys, so today I have swatches of some Native War Paints polishes that are being added to the permanent collection. There are 13 polishes in total that are being added. I will link Native War Paints down below where you guys can check these out, and I will get into the swatches. So the first polish is called Confetti Cannon, and this is a multicolored glitter topper. There is just about every shape and color in here imaginable. This is a clear-based glitter topper, and it does have some very large chunky glitters in it. And I am layering this one over Essie's Urban Jungle. So here's one coat. So I would recommend keeping this one upside down for a little while. I had it upside down when I did my swatch pictures, and I didn't seem to have any issues getting the glitters out, but now for the video I haven't had it sitting upside down. I'm having to do a lot of fishing to get the large glitters out. This does take a bit of a dabbing motion to apply, and you do have to do a bit of manipulation to get the glitters spread out and spaced evenly. So there is one coat of Confetti Cannon. The next polish is the white Crelly version of Confetti Cannon. This is the same mix of glitters that is in the topper, but in a milky white base. So here's one coat. This one is a bit sheer on the first coat, and I do have to do a little bit of fishing to get those large glitters out, but the rest of the glitters come out fairly easily. The formula is good. It does feel like if you do too thick of a coat, it's going to want to run down the sides of the nail though. So here's two coats. This one is still a little bit too sheer for me on two, so I'm going to do a third. And I am having to do a good amount of fishing for those larger glitters and still not getting very many, so I definitely recommend keeping this upside down for 5 or 10 minutes before you paint your nails with it. That'll have all those larger glitters sink towards the top of the bottle and they'll be easier to grab. So here's 3 coats. And this one covers completely in 3. It does dry a little bit textured and a little bit dull, so you will want a top coat to smooth everything out. So there is 3 coats of the white Crelly version of Confetti Cannon. The next polish is called Magical Buttercream Frosting, and this is a slightly grayish white Crelly with a very, very subtle holographic and iridescent shredded glitter in there. So here's one coat. This one is a bit sheer on the first coat. Formula is good. It's another one that I think if you do too thick of a coat, it is going to slide down the sides of the nail and pool up there though, so you do have to do thin coats. So here's 2 coats. This one is starting to build up a bit with 2, but it's still a bit sheer, so I'm going to do a third. There are some really tiny, really skinny, what look like holographic silver bar glitters spread out throughout this too. They're very, very subtle though. So here's 3 coats. This one covers almost completely on 3, but it's not quite there. I'm going to stop here though because I do top out at 3 coats for swatch videos just for time's sake. I do think this could look really cool layered over a white though. So there is 3 coats of Magical Buttercream Frosting. The next polish is called All I Need Is a Little of Your Time, and this is a light beige kind of Crelly with, there's a fine gold shimmer that runs throughout it, and then a bunch of multi-chrome flakies. And I haven't mentioned, I forgot, that these are not new bottles or anything like that. These were just some temporary bottles that went out to bloggers while they were waiting for a shipment of their regular cylindrical bottles. So if you order, don't worry about the bottles changing or anything like that. They're not. These were just temporary ones. So here's one coat. This one is pretty sheer on the first coat. Formula is great though, smooth, easy to apply. These kind of polishes kind of have to be a little sheer or else the base would be too opaque and you'd never see the flakies. So here's 2 coats. And this one actually builds up to cover completely in 2. I'm really surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot more sheer on the second coat than it actually is. Depending on your application, you might end up needing 3, but I don't think it's very likely. So there is 2 coats of All I Need Is a Little of Your Time. The next polish is called Muddy Moccasins, and this is a chocolate brown hollow. So here's one coat. This one is just a little bit sheer on the first coat. Great formula on this one, smooth, easy to apply. So here's 2 coats. And this one covers completely in 2. It does dry a little bit dull though, so you will want a top coat. So there is 2 coats of Muddy Moccasins. The next polish is called Dinglehopper, and this is a light greeny blue Crelly base with red, purple, blue, and silver glitters in there. There are some very large circles. Everything else is relatively small. So here's one coat. This one is a bit sheer on the first coat, and I'm trying to get some of that glitter out. Formula is good. I feel like this one would run a little bit, but not as much as some of the other ones. And it does take a little bit of manipulation to spread those glitters out. So here's two coats. This one is still a little bit sheer on the second coat, so I'm going to do a third. I have had the bottle upside down for a little while, so I'm starting to get some of those circles out. So here's three coats. And this one covers completely in three. This will dry a little bit dull and a little bit textured, so you will definitely want a top coat. So there is three coats of Dinglehopper. The next polish is called Unicorns Love Blueberry Muffins, and this is a light kind of purpley blue Crelly base, just barely purpley blue. And this has a couple different shades of blue glitter and then some very large purple circles as well. So here's one coat. This one is a bit sheer on the first coat. I have had it upside down, but I am not getting too many of the large circles out. By too many, I mean any so far. Formula on this one is pretty good. It's another one that I think might run if you do too thick of a coat. So here's two coats. And actually, with the glitter and the base combined, this one almost covers completely. I think a lot of people could get away with this in two coats if they're not picky. I'm still holding out hope to get a circle out, though. So with a lot of fishing, I did get a circle out. I was actually going to try to do a third coat if I couldn't get one, but I think I'm just going to call this one a 2. It does dry matte, and it will dry a little uneven, so you will want a top coat. So there is 2 coats of Unicorns Love Blueberry Muffins. The next polish is called Yo Bitch, and this is a medium blue. It's a lighter blue, but I would say it's on the medium side of lighter jelly base with a bunch of different sizes and shapes of blue glitter mixed in. So here's one coat, and the base on this one is pretty sheer. I'm getting a good amount of glitter out though, and I did have to fish a bit though to get those circles out. Formula is good on this one, smooth, easy to apply, a little bit on the thicker side because it is a jelly, but it's not bad. So here's 2 coats. This one is starting to build up, but it's still a bit sheer, so I'm going to do a third. This one is also going to dry pretty textured. So here's 3 coats. So this one is still a little bit sheer on the third coat, but it's not terrible. There's a lot of glitter to distract from any nail line. You do have to do a little bit of dabbing to even the glitters out, but not a ton. So there is 3 coats of Yo Bitch. The next polish is called Beneath the Sparkling Sea, and this is a dark kind of tealy blue with a ton of lighter green, blue, and purple glitter mixed in. So here's one coat. This one actually covers pretty well on the first coat. It's a darker jelly base, so it covers a little bit better. Formula is good on this one, smooth, easy to apply, and it looks like it has a little bit of holographic shimmer that runs throughout it as well. So here's 2 coats. This one covers completely with 2. I have had the bottle upside down, so I'm getting a good amount of circle glitters out. This one will dry a bit dull and a bit textured, so you'll definitely want a top coat. So there is 2 coats of Beneath the Sparkling Sea. The next polish is called Under the Starry Sky, and this is a black jelly base with a ton of gold, and I think there's some silver in there, holographic glitter. So here's one coat. This one is a little bit sheer on the first coat. I have had it upside down, so I am able to get those circle glitters out. Formula is great on this one. It does take a little bit of manipulation to spread those glitters out evenly though. So here's 2 coats. So this one actually builds up nicely and covers completely in 2. It will dry a little bit dull and a little bit textured, so you will want a top coat. So there is 2 coats of Under the Starry Sky. So the next polish is called Visions of Sugarplums, and this is a purple jelly base with silver, gold, I think there's some blue, maybe some orange glitters in there. With the purple base, it's a little hard to tell what the colors are, but there are a bunch of different sizes and shapes. So here's one coat. This one actually covers really well on the first coat. I'm getting a good distribution of those smaller glitters out as well. I haven't really done any fishing, but I haven't gotten a circle out on its own yet. Formula is great on this one, and with a little bit of fishing I was able to get that circle glitter out. So here's 2 coats, and this one covers completely in 2. It does dry pretty dull, so you will want a top coat. So there is 2 coats of Visions of Sugarplums. The next polish is called My Favorite Sweater, and this is a tealy blue with a strong gold shimmer. This is what the bottles actually look like, by the way. So here's 1 coat. This one covers really well on the first coat. It's just a little bit patchy, so I'm going to do a second. Great formula on this one, not too thick, not too thin. So here's 2 coats. And this one covers completely in 2. There are some brush strokes in that gold shimmer when you first apply it, but those do disappear as it dries. And this one does dry matte, so you will definitely want a top coat to help that shimmer stand out. So there is 2 coats of My Favorite Sweater. And the last polish is called Crisp Red Apples, and this is a brighter red, metallic, almost holographic. So here's 1 coat. This one is a little bit sheer on the first coat. Formula is great though, smooth, easy to apply, and that holographic stands out really well. So here's 2 coats. So 2 coats covers completely, and it does deepen that color a bit as well. This one doesn't dry matte at all or dull. It actually seems to dry really shiny. So there is 2 coats of Crisp Red Apples. So I have 3 favorites here, and these are kind of 3 of my all-time favorite Native War Paints polishes ever. And those are Under the Starry Sky, Visions of Sugarplums, and Crisp Red Apples. Crisp Red Apples is one of the first Native War Paints polishes that I tried, and the other 2, I think both came out the same year. Under the Starry Sky, I think, was part of the fall collection that year, maybe the same collection as Crisp Red Apples, and then Visions of Sugarplums was the holiday collection that year. Those are still in my top favorite Native War Paints polishes ever, so those 3 are my favorite. So that is the Native War Paints permanent collection. Again, I will link the website down below where you guys can check these out. I hope you enjoy this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.